Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to session 3 of 4 of the Four Masters. This is a Hearts of Wulin game. It's being recorded as part of Gauntlet's actual plays. We are using the X card, and we set up lines of veils at the beginning of the group. This time around, after the second scene, which was quite story in this full part, was quite dramatic, and lots of people got into trouble. So we're going to take things a little bit slower today to let the characters unfold a little bit. So, anyone like to recap for us where their character is as of this time? So, and what happened for them in the last session? I'm going to go in the character keeper order again. I'm going to ask Green Owl to introduce themselves and happen to them and what they expect to happen today.
Hello. David, can we first have an overview of what the province looks in the spring?
Yeah,
So
because time will have passed as well. Yeah. So it's absolutely. So if this is early spring, put it in another way. I'm going to ask you, Lou, to describe one thing that used to happen here in the spring, but now because of the tyranny in the land, no longer does.
So there was a type of bird, the red-tailed hawks, that they used it to go south past the Imperial lands during winter and return to these lands in spring, but either because of the aggressive exploitation of the region by the greed of the fourth master or something else that is happening along their migration pathway, we no longer see red-tailed hawks in the spring anymore.
No more red-tailed hawks. So I'm going to ask that to everyone before we introduce the characters and recap then. So, Sable Serpent, again. It's spring, time has passed, but what is different about this spring to previous springs?
Who, the one thing that's notable to Sable Serpent, who used to live in this province and is back after having gone off to learn things, is that there used to be this festival at the lake. This, like, just beautiful outpouring of relief that spring is here. And it's a time for renewal. I'm very much imagining it's a festival that involves a lot of boats and a lot of merriment by the lakes, but in the lake and by the lake shores. Yeah, that festival's not really there anymore. And if it's there, it's probably sparse and official in the way that a government-sanctioned festival is.
State-mandated fun. Awesome. Tiger Eye, same question to you.
Yeah, well, it used to be that in the spring for the boat festival, the shepherds would come down from the mountains to the village just to celebrate and just to see if everybody was there and how they were doing, and have a bit of a connection between the different kinds of peoples who lived there. But the shepherds, they have been really avoiding the city lately because there are all these guards and there are all these taxes, and then they have to pay tolls and stuff like that. The shepherds stay up the mountain mostly now.
Okay. And finally, Ping. What does Ping note that is different about this spring than previous springs?
I think that before people would usually, I think a lot of people, especially from the countryside who had relatives in city, would usually come visit in spring because the winter is over and it's easier to travel.
Mm-hmm.
But that I think it's more the other way around now. That people go to the countryside instead.
So fled the city to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I will add that the winter has been the hardest in living memory, and grains and stores have been sparse. It has been a hard winter for everyone. Now spring is back. People are starting to go out to hunt, to forage, but the roads have not been well kept, except for the roads that the troops would march across. So travel is slower and more difficult. There are bandits on the road who are desperate looking for food, and also there are more frequent patrols of the Dragon Masked warriors. Well, during the winter months, their numbers have swollen. There are many more of them, as if when Governor Willow was brutally murdered by a rebel, they felt it was necessary to reinforce the forces and the strength of the empire here on in our province. Okay. Any other questions or things that people would like to add to that? I've got a cat who wants to play this one, it. Good. So, look, we'll go in reverse order at this point then, and we'll get to introduce our characters, and then we will do some time passes moves, which might be appropriate for some, but poor Tiger Eye. Well, maybe Tiger Eye's been making a legend for themselves whilst imprisoned. But Ping, how have the months treated Ping? And let's remind ourselves where we left Ping last.
Well, we left Ping last in the courtyard of the castle when they accused what's his name?
Bao.
Bao of being a traitor and thus going to the prison, but also they had an arrow through some non-vital body parts, but still in pain probably.
Cool. And we've got a hack in this game that we are running, which is a it's adapted from Masks. It is a time passes move to understand what how the time has gone, have our heroes and rebels achieve things. So did anyone else? I didn't note down the dice room from last time. Did anyone store that? If not, I'll just open another one. I should have put it under the character keeper. That means everyone's got to put their names in again. Sorry. But considering how mean that room was to you on your rolls last time, maybe that's not such a bad thing anyway. So we're going to do a time passes for Ping. This is just a flat roll.
That's an 11.
Yeah. So it has been a good time for Ping. You fade into the background of your own legend. Tell other players what you do to sustain your reputation, roll unmodified on a hit. you establish the reputation you sought, and you will take an XP advance for your successes. So, what has Ping done to further their reputation in the intervening months?
I mean, I think it's just that they took credit for the imprisonment of Bao in like in a way where they didn't do the crediting themselves. So I think it's mostly just that. So it's suddenly people know who Ping is, even though I guess it's still a bit unclear. More than this is the person who got Bao imprisoned.
It's a shame about Bao because he almost undoubtedly would have been next in line to be governor. I think we'll need to figure out who has become governor instead. But we'll do that momentarily. Let's now cut across to Tiger Eye. When we left Tiger Eye, things were not going so well for Tiger Eye.
No, I don't think so. Tiger Eye was in prison last time and is fated to be transported to the dungeon of 100,000 years, and that doesn't sound. That sounds a bit ominous, but you know, who knows what will happen before he gets transported to that prison.
So you've obviously been in prison, but your men and your people got away. So I think we should reflect how Tiger Eye's people have carried on his work while he's been imprisoned.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll. I roll with nothing, right?
Yes, that's right. It's a flat roll.
Cool, I've got an 11.
See, this is a better room. Everyone's succeeding. Only this happened last time.
I like this. I like this room. Cool. So I guess my people are pretty much motivated by the fact that I've been imprisoned, and it's kind of a martyr thing going on here, where people are saying, well, they caught him, but they won't break him, and he will return to rescue us from the government, and at least he tried, stuff like that.
Cool. And what about poor Hui? Is he? Wait, no. Why? Sorry.
Why?
Why is Hui? Yeah, I think he's come into his own and is the de facto leader of your.
Why is meant to be the funny sidekick? Okay, yeah. he's the de facto leader. That's weird. Okay. He stepped up, right?
Yeah, so saddened by your capture is trying to ensure that your reputation and your work carries on. How are they getting you messages?
I think they have a lot of support now in the populace. So, one of the prison guards is the son of the cousin of the mother of one of our contacts who's working with us. And his mama is telling him to go and bring these messages because if he wants some of that marvelous tofu she makes.
Let's name that messenger.
He is a guard in the prison. I think he's named. Oh, what is his name? Xiang.
Lovely. Sable Serpent, how have you been doing since your tortured emotions but final assassination of poor Magistrate Willow?
Yeah, I think to the public, Sable Serpent seems like she's in a precarious position because her brother is in prison. Her brother is Bao, for anyone watching, and so so her position in court is kind of precarious because she was just kind of there as kind of his hanger-on, but now she's kind of there. She's kind of forced to stay at court to represent this disgraced family of sort. I think she only just didn't go to prison because nobody cares about her. She wasn't, or people just didn't like Bao. He didn't seem like a chap that folks would like. Yeah, but inwardly she's a bit mixed in that. Well, she did what she would. She lived up to her doctrine of, pruning the weeds of the world. Just so happened that one of those weeds used to be her friend, who kind of became bad. But it's part of learning. It's part of living up to the code of the blooming lotus.
Sure. Okay. So let's see how your intervening months have gone.
That's a 7.
So you've antagonized someone or need a favor. Describe which of your relationships are going to be important to play around this.
Ooh. I know I definitely have to change one of my entanglements because one of them was a dead person. I feel I'm not entirely sure who would be antagonized or I need a favor. I definitely want to involve like one of the PCs for sure. Let's see. Just drink more of this coffee.
Huo or Tian would potentially suggest as something that could be interesting to explore.
Ooh, yeah. I think maybe I need a favor from Huo, who was, I don't know, maybe have risen up in the ranks since the governor. And we plotted this. This is what we plotted. This is why I killed that governor, so she could rise up in the ranks, and she could have further control of the province, and then things will be better. Maybe that was naive of me to think that. But I think I want to grab a favor off her. And I need to figure out what that favor is.
No problem. We can figure it out in play. And finally, let's figure out how Green Owl has.
Yeah, I'm playing Green Owl, the legendary thief with a complicated family history. And after more and more troops came from the capital and the patrols reinforced, there was an increased danger and also an opportunity because the province has suffered so much this winter. But all these new patrols, they need to eat. So Grenal figures there must be some kind of supply lines, and they will be well guarded. But the winter grows colder and colder, and more people are starving. And I'm sure her bandits are doing way worse than the people on the town. So let's see how her group reacted. And a 10. Oh, I love this round.
So that's your legend continues to build. Do grab an XP for that, and establish. You succeeded what you wanted to establish. So let's describe what the outcome of that is then.
So because of the lake is still closed either for the winter and then for the festival, a lot of the supply boats, they have to dock way away from the main communities around the lake. So there's these small docks for lumber yards and the mines around town, and there is way less people and way less accommodation. So a lot of the patrons, they have to stay on villages nearby. So timing carefully, Greenal and her people, they are able to come in and take boat out of supplies, and then they distribute it among those most needed, reinforcing her original mission as kind of Robin Hood-esque element of the province.
Good. Slightly hungry troops, which is bound to go well for you. But I'm going to make a note of that, because where that's appropriate, I do think you should get a bonus at some point in the game as a result of that action. So, elsewhere, because of the increased acts of rebellion and treason, a new governor has not been appointed. Custodian Tian has put the province under martial law. Within the city and the castle itself, he has placed his daughter Huo as the magistrate, and is dealing with the day-to-day civil side of the law. She is fair in the point of quite. Her father and her have argued occasionally that she has applied the law as exactly as written, rather than necessarily as her father has wanted. With that in mind, we've got a good list of scenes to pick up with, but I think I'd like to. I think I'd like to open with Tiger Eye and Bao.
Shouldn't we?
Starting moves. Yes.
Start with
Yes.
Our entanglements, because
You are quite right.
We have lots of Magister Willow entanglements still left, and I think
we do. Yeah.
Kind of redundant.
No, I almost forgot to do so. Yes, start a session move. Your entanglements, do review them and check that they still react or are suitable to you and your characters. And if you want to change them, make a change and let us know. Ludo, is that your drawing of Green Owl?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
Well, I have made an adjustment to my entanglement. I love Ming, but I think now it's Custodian Tian who has seduced her family with status and power, which is quite appropriate anyway. So I'll have an easy time changing that. I think I'll leave the Sable Serpent and protecting Ping thing there. We'll see how that plays out today.
Yeah, I need to change an entanglement, but it's a bit tricky to pick a romantic entanglement now.
I suppose so, unless you want to do some form of avenging of Magister Willow, and you still have a relationship to Ming. In fact, everybody loves Ming except Sable Serpent.
I think I'm gonna go with I love Ming, but I have sworn revenge against their family member, which will be whoever is aligning the family with Custodian Tian. Do we have a name that can fit already? I don't think so.
No, I think we'll need to introduce someone.
Wait, so is that a family aligned with Custodian Tian?
Mm-hmm.
Well, your men saw Magister Willow with me. And then the next thing people know, Magister Willow died and then started blaming your men. Maybe you've sworn revenge against this Sable Serpent? Or is that too much? Because we have established we're friends, I guess. I just remembered that, sorry.
And have they blamed Green Owl, or have they blamed Bao and Tiger Eye? I'm not so sure that they would necessarily blame Green Owl.
I think they probably blame Tiger Eye, even if they believe it is Green Owl, because they have Tiger Eye. Oh no, someone else killed and we did not catch them. Yeah, I was thinking maybe Ming, whoever is leading Ming's family, maybe her aunt or her uncle.
We established a mom, right?
I think we did. At least we mentioned at some point.
Yes, I mentioned the mom. I had it in my first. I had her calm waters, like something like that. I had her in my first entanglement.
Okay, so I guess I want revenge against Calm Waters because based on what we established before they got all friendly with the government, they were friendly with the Veiled Forest emissaries. So also probably the Veiled Forest emissaries do not forgive their treason after they gave them so much wealth.
Good. Ping, are you happy with both of your entanglements?
Yeah, I think so too, unless the killing of thing from the Sable Serpent is no longer a thing.
I don't see why it still can't be a thing.
Then that's fine. Just stay like this.
That's fine. Sable Serpent might exploit that relationship.
Yeah. This list of entanglements is long, and I know I need to change one for sure. Because I'll highlight the one that I still have anyway, the one involving Tiger and Moonlit Raven, and then I'll come back to this. I'll just keep looking at this list for a moment.
Okay. That's fine. Do remember to highlight the entanglement you are most interested in exploring this session. This especially is a slightly cooler game. I really want to try and dig into those.
Oh yeah, I picked up a start of session move.
Okay, cool.
It's called Face to Fate. A start of session. Roll 2d6 without any element. On a 6-, I mark XP, and the GM gains a soft move from Fate for later use. On a 7+, I note the die roll. At any time during the session, I can swap this roll for one of mine or one of my allies. And so that could be very useful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, because I rolled a 3. So have that soft move there, David.
Lovely. I will use that to offer you pain and suffering later on. Good. Okay, so if we are all happy, we've established how the kingdom has moved on, how your relationships have changed. Let's I think open with Tiger Eye and Bao in the dungeons of the castle. So we sweep down against the beautiful looking palace at the center of the city, down through one of the windows in the dungeon, which let in just a scant amount of light. And how do we find Bao and Tiger Eye? What state are they in?
I think they've been in prison for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they both look a bit rugged, like 3-day shade of beard, because this is we don't go with bushy. I don't want that. Anyway, so they look a bit ragged, a bit thinner, and they're chained up, not like standing to against the wall, but they're sitting down, and there are heavy chains around the feet and around the hands. And right now, after they've been there for a few weeks, I guess there's only so much time you can spend hating and insulting a person who's basically the only kind of guy who you meet, aside from the guards and aside from the occasional questioning sessions where some official person will talk to you and threaten you with a 100,000 years dungeon. So I guess what we're seeing them do is they have drawn up a rough go board into the dirt floor, and now they are both trying to play Go, which is kind of hard if you don't have any stones or anything for that. Right now on this board there is a cockroach that is crawling around, and they're both watching it and trying to figure out how this would what this would mean for their game, and if they can invent some kind of bullshit special rules for cockroaches. Because it's really boring.
Okay. So Bao was full of rage when he first came into a dungeon and tried to fight you many times, but I think that's turned into a grudging respect where he realizes the real enemy is not you.
Yeah, I was full of rage when I was woke up in there, and I was of course a bit surprised that the guy who captured me was in there too. I think I fought him too. We fought a lot, but you can only fight so much. If you're chained down, it's not really easy to kind of fight. Yeah.
Good.
And I've probably talked to him about the False Master and how everything is going downhill and stuff like that.
Bao then I think is he is not as skilled as Tiger Eye is at Go, but has enjoyed learning and playing with you. And he ponders, do you think it is possible to overcome Custodian Tian?
Yes, I do. I have to. It has to be possible. This can't go on. Like it cannot go. It can't go on like this.
And when the moment comes, if we were successful, for surely we will be, will you stay here in the province or take the fight to the Fourth Master?
That's an interesting question. I've not thought about that because I mean I'm from Liangxia. What's that name? Liangxi. I'm from here. My father was custodian before Tian, and I've not thought beyond reclaiming justice in this province, but the truth is, of course, that the False Master won't leave us alone. Even if we are successful. Tian is just a symptom of the whole cancer of the False Master.
I bet even now he is striving to put his vile daughter in the governor's chair.
Huo. Well, yes, I mean, I suppose that seems reasonable, right? She's his daughter, and she seemed to be quite competent.
She was to be my wife, but this is a betrayal. I wonder if she planned it all along. I believe that she and Sable Serpent, they are the true power behind the throne. If I get out of here, Sable Serpent will kill them.
Wait, what do I think of Sable Serpent? Oh, yeah. I'm a bit less enthusiastic, and I say, I don't know. I think Sable Serpent is playing a very subtle game. And I do not really know what side she's on.
She was my sister, and she betrayed me and has left me here. I believe they were both plotting against us.
I think this is more like the way things played out. I don't think that was her plan. I think things just really went wrong that day. Mostly for you. For me too. But mostly for you.
And yet they keep us here. I expected that both of us would be shipped to the 100,000 dungeon by now. I wonder why.
Yes, I'm wondering at that as well. Why aren't we there yet? What's Tian hoping to achieve by keeping us here?
I fear the worst.
What is actually worse than the 100,000 year dungeon? I mean, a public execution, that was the second thing I expected, but that hasn't happened yet. Hasn't been threatened yet.
I hope we never find out.
Well, we will eventually. Because if we don't find out, that means that next 40 years I sit in a cell with you, Bao, and while I don't hate you as much as I used to, I would like to be out there and fight.
Then we should plan to escape.
Well, I have a new move, which is not something I'm going to say, but I have a move that allows me to escape a situation. So I think I have, my plan involves, of course, now we have lost weight, and those manacles that are around our hands and feet, they were fitted when we were still both a bit more weighty. So we might be, I think I'm able to slip out one of my hands out of the manacles, and that would, with a chopstick I acquired from Xiang, I will be able to get out of the manacles, and then it's really just a way of fighting ourselves out. But right now I'm still waiting for confirmation that my people will start a distraction soon. And then, well, I will be able to try to get out of here, and if he wants to, I will get his manacles off as well. But I will ask him not to kill Sable Serpent.
Cool. So let's head up into the palace, where in the throne room a number of rebels have been brought in and face trial in front of now Magistrate Huo. I think that Ming is also in attendance in the room. Who would like also to be here as this trial goes down? And Custodian Tian is sitting in the governor's seat behind.
So I would think that Greenhouse still has his disguise as the Serene Raven. So she's still among the secretaries. So we see again the different actor playing her. sitting among the attendants.
Yeah, I think Ping is there as well. I think since last time that Ping is now the new lover of Huo.
That makes sense, especially as Bao is incarcerated. Good. How about Sable Serpent? Sable Serpent here or elsewhere?
Yeah, I think she's definitely here because kind of the court kind of demands that she be here because her family's under suspicion. Her brother is a what we call here in Dublin a snake, and it's under suspicion. So all eyes are kind of on her. So she's kind of there in like this regal but neutral sort of pose.
Okay. So these are bandits. They don't belong to either Green Owl or Tiger Eyes gang. They're here in, again, their arms and heads bound in wooden manacles, chained one to another. They are forced to kneel by the dragon masked guards in front of the Magister. Their crimes are read out. Predominantly, they are theft of livestock and food. It is a highway robbery on the royal roads, and the evidence is quite compelling. It's read out. Huo looks across to Ping before she makes judgment. What might she see in Ping's eyes as a guidance to how Ping feels?
I mean, what Ping feels and what she sees in my eyes are two different things, I think. But at least I definitely think that Ping is of the mindset, and I think we probably have this like flashback to this discussion that we had in our bedchamber or something like that, where where Ping is like, but people are hungry. You can't blame them for trying to steal food to survive. And then she says something, I don't know, yeah, you go.
Yeah. Say, I don't blame them for trying to steal the food, but they have broken the law. I've been asked to act as a magister, and that means the law applies to all of us. Their punishment must surely fit their crime. Would you have me send them away in exile, or perhaps I should imprison them, or maybe execute them to ensure that people learn that banditry has a price?
I mean, if you give them an opportunity to use their hands to feed their family, then I'm sure there is farms that need extra hands. It's spring after all, and that's what we need. We don't need dead bodies in the ditches. We need more hands on the farms. And less feast in the castle.
Then I think you're trying a hearts and minds on Huo at this point to see if she takes your your guidance.
I think that's a +5. Let's go. I also, does it matter if I have a bond to
her? You can spend the bond for a +1 if you need to, but you shouldn't need to do that. No, the bond should give you, the bond can be spent 1 for 1 as a +1 for all in the roll if you want to, but you can do that after the roll.
Okay. Well, that doesn't matter because I roll a 3.
I think touchingly, she puts her hand against your face and looks and nods and says, "I will take your advice and think upon it."
Well, thank you.
So we cut back to the courtroom where Huo stands to pass judgment and says, "Your acts of barbarism and banditry cannot go unpunished. You will be taken from this place, bound to and chained to the roadside and be left for the buzzards as a reminder to any who try to perform piracy and banditry on these roads that there is a price to pay." She bangs down a metal ball to note that the court is open. Over these people are all proclaiming and looking around the room for someone to save them from their death sentence.
Well, that is an inner conflict if I ever saw one. Yeah, and I think you just see Ping's face. Like, I mean, I guess we'll see how it looks, but you definitely see like a small reaction to her face, like a twitch, or looking over at Huo.
So roll your inner conflict.
Yeah, that's plus nothing, right?
That's nothing for inner conflict.
Yeah. That's an 8.
Either flee the scene or mark an element.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happens. I think Ping just like storms out very dramatically, and I think like I think at the court it's pretty known that Ping is Huo's lover, but this is like definitely the moment where it's very clear that Ping is just a lover and not anything else.
Yeah, as Juju says, remember to mark XP for your fails. Right, so yeah, good. So as you flee the scene, one of the trapped prisoners takes this moment to snap out of his bonds and draws a sharp knife from inside his clothes and makes a beeline towards custodian Tian. Does anyone react?
I think that's an inner conflict to me to see if I actually my desire to remain hidden is stronger than my natural instincts to save a family member, and I have a 7. So I'll say that it hurts my metal because I have to use all of my self-control to not just jump in front of them. And I have to realize he's no threat to my father.
Okay. How about Sable Serpent?
Yeah, I'll jump in. It's part of the whole repentance thing. Yeah, did we clear all the mark stuff we had since time passed?
We did say that was happening, yeah.
Okay. Just to be sure. Yeah, so yeah, I think I'm going to intercept that with I don't want to try to kill this one. I think I'm going to like I'm gonna like throw a knife in such a way that they're gonna be they're gonna be caught by the knife and they're gonna like on their clothes, they're gonna be pinned to the wall.
Cool. So that sounds to me like you're dealing with troops because they're way below your scale.
Okay, so all right, I'm gonna roll with what is my element? Metal. That's an 11.
Yeah, you do so easily. So describe the flick of a knife towards them.
Yeah, it's a deliberate motion. Partially because the her style, Path of the Sun Shadow, is like it's a quick, decisive motion, but it's also decisive in the sense that everyone can see it, so that they'll know that it's Sable Serpent who threw the knife just kind of out of nowhere. Well, no, I think they threw one of the visible knives. I think she keeps her knives out just so people know that she's armed. And this pins the guy to the wall, and like I kind of keep a neutral face.
Good. Okay, so when that happens, Huo takes from Sansa the chair, and it looks like she's about to draw her own weapons. Custodian Tian stands from the throne and walks towards the pinned man and looks at Sable Serpent and nods. Thank you. Thank you, Sable Serpent. She looks around the rest of the room. That you would protect me while others would not is noted.
I kind of like incline, just nod my head, or bow my head.
He approaches the pinned man and says, "And you thought that you here could kill me?" The guy spits in Tian's face and starts swearing at him. I think you see this moment of Tian wiping the spit from his face, looking at his fingers for a moment, and then he draws the half blade from one of the first master and flips it around and goes straight through the pin man's heart. As he dies, something strange happens, and the energies and the chi of the dead man swoosh around the sword and seem to flow into Tian. How does that make you feel, Green Owl?
Deeply conflicted. And but at the same time, she finds herself unconsciously moving closer to who rather than Tian. And then she realizes that to a deep level, she understands that while Tian always saw them with tool and was not worthy of any filial devotion, you is just in the same loser position as she was. And if someone that does not need to be dragged down because of Tian's mess is going to be her.
So Tian looks at the other imprisoned bandits. Says, "They've tried to kill me in my palace. This is no longer a civil matter, it is a military one. Send them to the dungeon. They shall await my judgment." Huo bites her teeth, click together, and she hisses in dissatisfaction. But it is done, and the dragon-headed guards take them away. Unless anyone's intervening. Okay. So with that done, I'm gonna let's have Sable Serpent suggest a scene and an interaction next. Who do you want to deal with in the aftermath of this?
I think after this, I do want to talk to Sable Serpent wants to talk to Huo, kind of in private, but it's a bit. They haven't been able to do that in a while. But I think. See, I'm scared of that soft move you have. You can deploy at me at any time. You know what? Let's go finally meet her teacher.
Okay. So, you know that. Remind me of your mentor's name. Moonlit Raven. Moonlit Raven is here and has agreed that it is time for them to reveal themselves for you and meet. Where does this scene take place? Paint the scene for me.
I think it is totally under moonlight because why the hell not? It is. I think. I think this is again the. This is at Bao's house. Bao's house. Love that band. And I think this is probably the family home, and I'm totally imagining this as another garden scene. I think our Bao's garden is probably like he tried to cultivate a wild, extravagant sort of garden, but it just kind of looks tacky. It's like jade statues everywhere around the paths. There's like these ponds with these fish. There's like lots of flowers from all across the country. It's all so tacky. I think I'm kind of just there wallowing in my feelings, I guess. And there's a gazebo, sure, somehow.
The first that you see of Moonlit Raven is where her cloak flutters and almost cuts the moon out of the sky. She is there in this black raven feather cloak, wearing a mask that conceals her face, and she looks at you, student.
Teacher? Okay, stand up, like do a differential bow out of like reflex.
Now our enemies are in disarray. Huo has formed a rivalry with her father. She is a way to take control of the city and the province. She will need to fall beneath your influence. Can you do this, Serpent?
Yeah, yes, teacher. I know Huo very well. We had grown up as close as two can be before I came under your tutelage. Although, forgive me for asking, but the Blooming Lotus sect, we have not had contact with you for a while, and I had begun to wonder what have you been up to in these parts.
She takes the hand to the mask and pulls it away, revealing herself to be Calm Waters.
Motherfucker.
Says, I have been busy weaving a web among the court. If we defeat Tian, we can take the sword, and with that blade, put true power back into our sect's hands.
I think I can bow again because I only vaguely know Calm Waters, but I know who. But I know some people who. Well, no, I don't. Me, the player, knows who'd be interested in that. I think I'm gonna activate one of my moves, the Proud Youth. I think I will straight up ask my teacher, because there's guidance always good. what should I do to bring Huo under my influence?
She's taken a new lover, Ping. If you were to subvert or control Ping, you control Huo. Plus, with Ping gone, who else will Tian look to take on the Magister and the Governor's seat other than you?
Ugh. Yeah, I'll take that advice. I gain 1 study hold. I feel like there's some sort of inner conflict because I haven't asked her yet. Like, okay, why did you kill the previous custodian?
Mm-hmm.
Who is, Tiger Eye's dad?
Do feel free to roll an inner conflict.
Ooh. Oh god, that's a 4.
So yes, now you can definitely keep the room. Good. So that's a 4. That's a fail. What are you going to do?
Yes, I think I will kind of lose composure a bit and just straight up ask. Just straight up ask her, I guess, that like I know we all have our own methods, but I must know why engineer the downfall of the previous custodian. Surely the one that replaced him is far worse.
She looks at you and says, "Simple. He was in the way. He'd identified us and our sect and was to reveal us. As a result, it was necessary for him to face the price. And soon, so will his son."
Oh god. Yeah, I failed that roll. I don't know if I can hide the look of the gleam of anguish kind of in my eyes. I think I kind of look away for a moment from Moonlit Raven and say like, does his son know about us, about our sect? Guess that doesn't matter.
No, we are the bird in the night. No one sees us until it is too late. You will, I am sure, be able to remember this if you are to grow in influence and continue under our tutelage, Sable Serpent.
Yes, teacher. Seems I still have much to learn.
Place your heart in a box. There is no place for it in our business.
Yes, teacher.
Your previous masters may have been forgiving what you failed. I am not. She puts the mask on, wraps the coat around it, and is gone into the night.
Well, I'm gonna keep wallowing my feelings then.
Good. Right. Can we just take 5 minutes on the back of that, if you don't mind, and pick up? I just need to grab another coffee, and we'll come back at about 10 to the hour, if that's okay then.
Yeah, I'm gonna go find another room and just scream at what just happened. Wallow in my feelings. Back in 10.
So while Leandra's having a rage scream elsewhere, maybe we'll pick up with. I think we still. Yeah, let's pick up with Green Owl. What does Green Owl want to?
So after that meeting, Green Owl senses an opportunity, and still on her guise, she approaches U with some papers and pushing her glasses up. She says, "I think, Magistrate, if this is now a martial matter, you're gonna need more people on the dungeons and on the palace. Perhaps you can sign these orders to have some of the patrols recalled." And she's thinking that maybe she can use this to manipulate the pressure that is preventing Tiger Eyes people and her people to move around freely, going to be lifted, and they can exploit it somehow. Because it seems that the situation is only getting worse and worse.
So let's see how attentive she is by rolling hearts and minds there, Green Owl.
Okay, hearts and mind element. What is the element? I'm gonna say water. And I get an 11.
Everything's coming up Green Owl then. So great. Huo barely looks at the papers, is distracted, signs them, allowing you to bring new troops into the palace and move the patrols away and around on the roads. She's effectively giving you quite a lot of control. She says, yes, whatever, do as you will. I must find Ping. And Huo, let's see. So what does Green Owl want to do with the new authority that she has?
She just sends it to another secretary. Had this sent around the garrisons, and then she keeps following Guo. You mean the young boy? He seemed quite distressed. He seemed to have been quite affected by the kerfuffle in the courthouse.
Sorry, say that again.
So you mean the one that was so affected by the kerfuffle in the courthouse?
Yes.
I can help you with that.
How?
Well, it seems that you were cornered between affection and duty. And I've read quite the literature on my time on that. I think you need to prove to them that you're not only your job, but you cannot be open and say that just that. You have to prove it in a grand gesture.
Do you have a thought on what might work?
Well, do you know what Pink likes?
Oh, she that robot is for me there. Sorry, can you say that one again?
Do you have an idea of what Pink likes?
Let's have a quick flashback to an early date on a walk around the castle gardens with Ping and Huo, where they are discussing their favorite flowers.
Yeah. I imagine in a situation like that, I mean, Ping is a little bit. This whole castle thing is a bit new to Ping, and I think like going around in the castle garden, she's just like a bit very like uncomfortable a little bit, and I think she there's a gardener there who's like taking away weeds, and I think as he does, like Ping runs over and it's like, no, this is my favorite flower, and it's like something equivalent to like a dandelion or something like that.
So maybe Huo approaches you and says, "You are not a serving girl anymore, Ping. You're under my protection. You could choose anything, but you choose this weed. What beauty do you see in it?"
It reminds me of my father.
How
He
so?
always used to pick up these. And other flowers doesn't remind me of him, so why would I pick up those?
If this flower reminds you of your father, then I will put down orders that they are not to be pulled up as weeds. But what of us? Perhaps there is a flower that will remind you of me.
Yeah, and I think Ping looks up at War, and well, and she looks around the garden. I think you're a red flower.
Then perhaps red peonies when spring comes. Like little balls, hard, open, and show an inner beauty. Yes, I think that seems like a good flower for us.
Yeah, I think Ping smiles and like, yeah, no, I mean, I guess she for a minute forgets that they are never alone in the castle, and like runs up, like or like jumps up to her, and then like as she realizes that she's not alone, she just like stops and like looks down, I think. Yes, that's a nice flower for us.
Good. Then I will have some planted. So we can flash back to the present day where there are red peonies growing in the garden. I grew them for her.
Well, that was a nice gesture, but I'm afraid that might not be enough. From what I see, Ping, the young girl still longs for the road, and if she's really close to the dandelion, then you know that she's the hard kind, the one that can heal through anything, the one that can thrive in any conditions. They might be doing this on this same palace. It's clearly not her environment. She must be doing it for someone that she cares a lot about. Perhaps you can show her that you care just as much. I mean, more troops will be in the palace. Your father will be safe. Perhaps this is the time for you to do an inspection of the province and check the damage that winter has caused on the industries that are so essential for the imperial throne. And you may take someone close to you, someone that loves the road and can be a good companion. I'm sure Ping will love that.
Perhaps you're right, getting out of the castle. I know the festival is cut down, but there is still the festival at the lake. Perhaps we should go there. That would be a fine excursion.
Perhaps, but festivals tend to attract crowds, and I don't think Ping is one for crowds.
This is hard. Will you find out for me what it is that Ping desires? and it would be like a surprise that I have thought of.
Gladly, I'll get close and find out which assignment she's looking forward and which she's not. I'm afraid that the only reason that she sticks around might be because of you, my dear. I'm sorry, acting magistrate.
Her eye goes up and says, "You are over familiar. What's your what's Green Owl's identity at the moment? What's her
Serene Crow.
Serene Crow? Yep. Looks at you, raised eyebrow, and says, "You're over familiar. Only a member of my family may address me such."
Excuse me, I forgot myself. I think my romantic side was lost on all this conversation about love. As I said, I'm deeply favorable to the literature on those matters.
Wonderful. I look forward to your discoveries.
With your permission, acting magistrate, I'll get on to it.
Good. I think we should probably go back to the dungeon. What sign is Tiger Eye waiting for?
I think Tiger Eye is waiting for Xiang to I think they arranged a sort of a signal that when Xiang accidentally kind of added a bit of tofu to the very sparse meals, but if there's tofu in it, that means it's going to happen. The distraction that was planned is going to happen today. I think that might coincide with the festival anyway, because festival time is a good time to cause a distraction.
Good. I think the guards rush into the room that both you and Bao are in. Your chains are tightened, and they don't notice the manacles, but they are there around you. And then you see coming down the stairwell and around the corners Custodian Tian, who looks. His eyes are penetratingly cold. And he dismisses the guards away and says, "Tiger Eye, I wish it is time for us to have our final conversation."
Well, I've little to say to you, tyrant.
The white ships with the black sails have been spotted on the coastline. They will soon be here, and you, and he looks to Bao, will be sent to the 100,000-year dungeon. This fate can yet be averted. All you must do, Tiger Eye, is tell me where the encampment is for your rebellion. If the rebellion is put down, then the master will be happy, and we can all go about our business. I will offer your people a swift and painless death, and for you, a life of luxury here in the palace.
Let me think about that. My rebels camp, where is it? I think it's and I think he has a summer house somewhere in the country, right? And I'm telling him that it's there.
Stands and comes over and strikes you and says, "Do you think I am a fool?"
Yes, undoubtedly.
strikes you again. Give me what I want, or your friends will suffer.
I have told you what you wanted to know. If you don't believe me, that is your problem, not mine. Besides, you don't even know what being a friend means.
Says, friendship. Ha! I have no need for friends. The last friend I had was your father.
He was not. You were not a friend to him. If that is your idea of what being a friend means, well, your downfall will be hard and swift. Or maybe not.
If you die here, you will die quickly. If you're taken to the 100,000-year dungeon, the Emperor will take their time on you. I offer you the most simple, painless, and honorable death that you can receive.
Honorable, like you know anything about honor. You betrayed my father. You betrayed everyone. Your master betrayed his 3 brothers and sisters. You have no concept of honor, like I would treat with you. I'd rather go to the 100,000-year dungeon.
Fine. Then you shall go to the 100,000-year dungeon.
Yeah, I always wanted to see it anyway.
The ship arrives at dawn. Make peace with yourself, for it is the last time you will see a sunrise here.
I am at peace with myself, which is probably something you are not. How can you be? An honorless coward like you.
The master did not demand that you were brought in alive. I would take your flesh as punishment. And he storms away. Ping, where are you?
I think actually I am at my at the starving Morgans.
The where? Sorry.
I think I'm at the guild of the starving Morgans.
Oh right, okay.
But it's I imagine it being I ran out of the castle after what happened for the first time in a while, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think this our meeting place is like I think it's in a market during nighttime. So we just like clean away some of the stalls, and then we fight or train or whatever it is that we do. And I think yeah, that's where I am.
Who have you come here to see?
Honestly, like I could say a specific person, but I think it's more about getting out of the castle, seeing someone that is not, rich and privileged.
Good. So there are children and teenagers and a few old beggars, and here when they're practicing, they're not practicing to fight, so to speak. They are training to be unseen. So you will see them appear from behind a pillar, or grab something from one of the stalls without barely being seen. If they get it right, then they get to keep the apple. If not, they are beaten with a stick until they improve.
Yeah, and I think I probably brought some fruits.
One of the masters that trained you, let's give him a name, spots you and waves to you and says, "Well met. It is good to see that even though you live now in luxury in the castle, you have not forgotten us. What have you brought?"
Well, I brought some fruits for those who hide. I look around.
Says, "Haha. So, this is the first test, children. If you can take the fruit from from Dirty Fist, then you are worthy of it. No one has finer fingers than Dirty Fist." Mm-hmm. And the little kids start running off to hide as you continue to walk through with Zen, who is the one of the beggar kings. You look troubled.
Well, are you hungry?
I'm always hungry. We are always hungry here. Those of us who not live in the palace, whether we are of the finest birth or the lowliest cattle herd, we are always hungry.
I mean, I think Ping scoffs a little bit at that because, of course, she knows that. But and then like looks at him seriously. I mean, you know what I mean.
Yes, I am hungry. The pickings and the leavings are less than usual. Even dropped fruit or odd pieces of lost grain, they'll be swept up and fed to the animals. It's a tough time for us here in the city. Many of our brothers have left and gone out into the wilderness to see if there are better pickings to be found in the small towns.
Well, I am trying to do something about it, but I am better at hiding than I am at whatever they do in the castle.
And what is it that they do in the castle?
Well, they forget there is an outside of the castle.
Are you sure that they have forgotten and instead do just not care? I fear that since Peerless Falcon was killed by uh, Custodian Tien, that we have not had noble or wise leadership here in the province. Those who have taken the roles, they care only for themselves. Even the new magistrate, she has no love for the people and the land.
Yeah, and I think Ping buys her. I hmm. Maybe this is even inner conflict actually.
Good.
I think I might roll with Earth here. That's a 6, so I'd fail. Yeah, no caution, focus, or presence from me.
So you could get an XP.
Yeah, and that tips me over. Okay, so I think no. She does She just doesn't know yet, okay? Good leaders doesn't fall off trees either.
Looks at you and peers into your eyes. You love her. Ha! The beggar and the magistrate. This is a tale for ages.
She shakes her head. You have forgotten how to be wise and just think about how to say how people are wrong.
Perhaps you are right. Perhaps you are wiser than me. And perhaps now you can convince the magistrate to be kind and just. I'm sure she will heed your words, and we will see an end to these cruel punishments. If you wish wisdom, bring it, deliver it. Make the magistrate the person that they need to be.
Yeah, I think Ping looks at him with stone cold eyes and says, "Well, first I have to find the children."
So to find the children, I think this would be an impress.
Okay. Yeah, let's see. I think that's would maybe the curiosity, like finding her and patience, like finding her getting back to that mindset of what she's learned, instead of trying to get to the low hanging fruit all the times and reacting to what other people do.
Good.
That's a 7.
So on a hit, you can bring to impress. Pick 2. On a 7 to 9, you can. Yes, I offer you a complication or hard choice. Let's have a think. I'm struggling for a suitable complication. Anyone want to jump in? I think Ping is trying to discover the children. I've got it. What you do is you spot up until the last child who's very, very good hiding from you and zips past you, grabbing the fruit from your little shoulder bag and runs across the road. They were so focused on you, they didn't see the Dragon Guard patrol crossing the road with them. They've spotted the child who's just stolen from you. Point their finger towards them and start running after the child.
Well, I definitely run to stop them.
The Dragon Guard sort of stops in front of you and says, "That child stole from you. Don't worry, we'll get them." And look to move past you.
Yeah, I think that I grab his collar and says, "That fruit is theirs. You go back to your castle. This is no place for you."
That definitely sounds like a hearts and minds to try and do that. Where the outcome being that this will descend into a fight if you are not successful.
I mean, I almost hope I fail. Let's see.
You can have it turn into a fight if you want. You don't have to do the hearts and minds. We can go straight into
Yeah.
the deal with troops.
Yeah, I know, but it's oh yeah, that's a 9.
Maybe they can choose two. So what would you like them to do? Reveal, overreact, hesitate, alienate. If they were to hesitate, you could take that plus forward into then a fight if you so want to, because they weren't totally convinced by your actions.
I think I want to create animosity between them and Huo.
Okay.
For fighting me.
Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna take the hesitate as well, if I can. If I'm allowed to angle it that way.
Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense to me.
And you can do like a smash cut and come back to it, so I can do my advance as well.
That's absolutely fine. Hopefully, there's been enough time for Leandro to recover, and we'll go back to Sable Serpent.
I think I'm kind of. I say recovered, but that's a relative term.
Where and how would Sable Serpent like to engage next? Just as the other thing about I'm noting to everyone, if you do want to engage other characters in your scenes, just set them up to do so. So you're pushing yourself into others. Okay. But yes, sorry, Leandro, back to you.
Yeah, I have like 2 ideas. The main one is I probably do want to try to talk to Huo.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the main one. Yeah, I think that's the main. I think that's what I wanted to do.
Okay, Huo is currently patrolling around the castle looking for the missing Ping, which I was quite concerned. He said, "Have you seen Ping? I haven't seen her since she stormed out of the throne room."
No, I haven't. She seemed distressed. Something wrong?
We had a disagreement. She's kind and beautiful, but her heart is soft, and she will not do what needs to be done sometimes. Or maybe I was wrong. Perhaps I should have spared them, put them to work in fields. What do you think? You are wise.
Do I still have that study hold I got from that Proud Youth move?
Yep.
Cool. I'm gonna use that to ask a question about Huo. What does she really feel about Ping?
Huo cares deeply for Ping, but is concerned at giving away her heart, for it is a possible weakness and an exploit for her enemies.
Yeah, I think then Sable Serpent kind of like nods and kind of like draws closer to Paul so that people would hear it and says like, "Do you remember what we had to do for you to get to this position? This isn't a road of. This isn't going to be an easy road. All we have left for us are hard choices. Ping is kind and lovely, but would she remain so to you if she knows what we have to do to save this province?"
do not know. She is. I've raised her up, but she's still, I feel, uncomfortable with the trappings and decisions that must be made.
Then perhaps I know you carry so much on your shoulders, Huo, but there are times when there's a need to unburden some of those worries. Perhaps it is for Ping's own good that she not be privy to what you have to do.
Sounds like you're trying to hearts and minds to make Huo break up with Ping.
Yeah, well, not in those kind of terms. Okay, so I get a +1 because I'm using Moonlit Raven's advice. I am. Can I ask, is this okay? Because I'm wary that I'm pressing on like what people might want to do. Because last session I just blithely killed off someone who was in love with who a PC was in love with, and this time I'm breaking up another relationship. I just want to be.
I think that's very gracious for you to ask that question. So let's ask Mikhail what his feelings are there.
I mean, as a player, I don't have a problem with it. But I don't know. No, it's fine. Fine for me.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think about what's more interesting, and having a breakup is, I'm sure that is also interesting.
Okay, cool. Well, we still have to roll this, so it could go terribly wrong. I think this is going to be with metal. I'm being quite calculated. So with that +1, it's going to be a +3. Yeah, that's an 11.
She nods. I will take your advice on board and discuss things with Ping. She takes your hand softly and says, "It is only with you that I feel I can be myself, that I do not have to wear masks. You are a great friend. I feel you have my interests at heart."
Oh, you're my oldest friend and my dearest. If anyone can bring peace to this land, it should be you. That doesn't make you invulnerable. I think I kind of placed my hand on hers as well. Know that if you need to unburden yourself, I'm here.
Thank you, Sable Serpent. She turns and leaves. And before she does that, she's about to leave, she turns and says, "My father has told me that the white ships with the black sails have been seen. They will be here in the morning. Tiger Eye and your brother will be sent on the tide to the 100,000-year dungeon. I believe Sable Serpent was close to Ming. Perhaps she should have chance to speak to Tiger Eye before he is gone."
I would like that. I'd like the opportunity.
Good. I must go now. She leaves.
Yeah. I feel so bad for some reason.
Bleed. Green Owl.
I think we get back to Grinal as people leaving the castle. We see Grinal ditching the disguise of Serene Crow and following Ping at a distance. And I think it will be interesting if Grinal intercepts Ping as she's returning to the castle.
So we need to see, in that case, to go back. Ping, to deal with Ping and the Dragon Guard, who are about to attack her.
Yeah.
No, carry on.
So how does it look around me? Is it still like the marketplace thing, or is it?
Yeah, you're in one of the central squares. I think you run out. You're in the central squares. So there are stalls around you, but feel free to paint anything else you want to into the scene.
Yeah, no, I just grab like a chair or something and for using it as a weapon. And I think like very well, you will know now how to fight in the streets.
Okay. So you are dealing. You're using a specific move there. You otherwise deal with troops. So that is. Yeah. So which move are you pulling? Sorry.
It's not a specific move. It's
right,
just
yeah.
that I have an improvised fighting style.
Right. Then you are dealing with troops at this point. You probably do want to think about, because you're dealing off in your own in a dangerous situation. You might be able to use My Name Is Nobody or Monkey Fist Floating Snake, depending on.
I can do that, but I found out last time that rolling that move makes it possible for me not to be able to fight. So that's a little bit sad.
Okay, then it's just straightforwardly a deal with troops.
Mm-hmm. And I use water. Well, that's a 7. Thank God for that advancement.
Good. Okay, so on the 7. So it's not an easy win. Let's describe the fight then between them. Let's sort of describe what happens as you deal with them one by one, and how they almost overpower you.
Well, they are a lot, and I'm fighting with a chair.
Mm-hmm.
So I think probably I imagine this scene being very much like they go. I guess they have like swords and stuff.
Yeah.
And we go through quite a lot of chairs, and I think I see like this. I have like these 4 people left, and there's only one furniture left in the street, and I'm like looking over at it, looking over at the 4 people coming around me, and then in a circle, and then I like smack all of them with like a round thing with a chair, and I think they both all fall down, and I sit down in the middle of this chair in the middle of the circle of men that are falling to the ground, and I think that chair breaks.
Cool. Great. You want to use anything like Monkey Fist at this point to defeat them comically, or are you happy that they're just defeated?
I mean, it's a dragon guard. I think.
It's not a named foe actually, so no, it's fine. Sorry, no. They discard. I misread that. So yeah, that's fine. So we see that moment of you catching your breath and then the chair collapsing, and then I think smash cut up to Ping returning. Well, just before we do that, some of the kids and the other starving vagrants come out, and they look in awe at you and say, "Wow, how did you learn to fight like that?" says one of the small girls.
Well, I ate a lot of fruit.
Immediately, you can see them starting to eat apples and flexing their muscles, while others start going through the pockets and the clothes and stripping the guards of everything valuable.
Mm-hmm.
And probably describes how you do get your shadow boxing move with all of these lovable urchins ready to defend you at a moment's notice.
Yes.
Excellent. So then we will smash cut to Ping approaching back to the castle and Green Owl waiting. Green Owl, how do you make yourself known?
So I take a good look at Ping to see exactly what was sees on this girl. And after it seems that she's way more than what she immediately apparent, and recognizing the serene strength of a fellow martial artist, Green Owl just jumps in front of Ping and waves her hand. I am the great thief Green Owl. Who are you that walks so freely across these roads? Haha.
And I look like a bit like dumbstruck up on you, like, oh, and I take my like rest of my chair up to in like this pose, and I am Dirty Fist. Do you want an apple? You did a good job surprising me there.
An apple? Sure, there is always closeness in sharing fruit by the roadside. But you have not answered my question. Why do you walk freely? Don't you fear bandits? Or worse, the bandits in dragon masks?
What would they steal from me? Except the fruit that I'm giving away.
What have they stolen from you? They're stealing many things, and they call me a thief.
Well, and I think Ping just like her shoulders drop a little bit and say, well, if people call a lot of people thieves these days.
Yeah, but what have they taken from you?
I mean, I didn't always have nothing.
Me neither. I once had a family and I once have a master. Now I have a country to liberate.
Well, I once had a father and I once had food on the table. That wasn't much, but they took those two.
Well, cannot bring your father back, but if food in the table is all that you want, I'm sure you can get it with your skills. You must want something more.
Yeah, and I think Ping like looks around her, and I think like probably you see like all the children like eating their fruit, and says, "Well, I want nobody to be hungry."
The children all smile and they've got watermelon in their mouths, so you can just see these green grins looking back at you.
Well, that will not change as long as the empire still holds this region on its soul. There will always be want. There will always be starvation, no matter what we do. While they are still a factor, we are only dealing with the tip of the problem.
Well, I don't know what to do to solve it.
Well, I do. You are an odd one, Ping. You mingle with the poorest of the poor, the ones most oppressed, but you are also close to the breast of the oppressor. An odd situation, but one that has its benefits.
No, I don't know if I'm really that close. I think she just and then like shakes her head. I'm sure it will be a matter of minutes after I left the castle that some venomous tongue whispered something in her ear.
The thing with tongues is that the same way they circle in one direction, they can rotate and circle into another. The hymns and whispers of the court are even more mercurial than the southern zephyrs. You can show through actions something that can shut up even the loudest of the voices of the court. You just need to be bold. And you, Ping, you seem to be boldness incarnate to me.
And I think you see like Ping, she looks a bit confused up at you. I don't think she fully understands what you're really saying. But well, if that means that I have to beat up everyone with a tongue so they will turn it in the right direction, then perhaps. And then she looks like questioningly at you.
Well, there was an assassination attempt just now. What if you were to uncover something else, something more dangerous than a mere assassin?
You mean that the assassin is the key?
No. I say, what if you were to discover a cabal, a conspiracy, a cult trying to undermine the authority of the emperor? Because they know bandits, they know rebels, they are here to fight them. But what if you were to find evidence of something more? Something that makes them look at the silver tongues of court and doubt.
Well, how will that make the bellies of these children fuller?
It will turn the empire against itself and get us rid of them. And then we can take back our land and see that nobody wants again.
Well, I was looking for someone to tell me what to do. And well, I don't know. I just don't know. There is so many people who just want power, and I haven't seen anyone that has grasped the opportunity to go to actually rule. And what would it help if the empire turned on itself? If there's just some other idiot takes over and gets filled up with castle dreams?
That was the purpose of the Four Masters. If the Four Masters are returned to the world, balance and proper responsibility will come back. But that's what I believe. I don't ask you to believe. In fact, that's why I came to speak so frankly with you. I want to know what Ping, the Dirty Fist, believes, what she wants. Because I've been following for 40 years my nonsensical beliefs. I want to know what the next generation believes, and I want to help them achieve that.
And I think Ping like smiles a little bit and looks around at her like children and says, "Well, all that I know is that it's better when we all take care of each other."
Well, then perhaps you can speak about the benefits of cooperation with the agents of the emperor. I have to believe that not all of them are lost, not all of them are bloodthirsty monsters. I have to believe that some of them will like to cooperate like us, that when it comes between us and the Empire authority, they'll side with us. Can I count on you, Ping, to show them the benefits of cooperation, of the wonderful bounty that we can do by working together in harmony and through Discord?
And I think Ping nods and like takes a bite of an apple.
Awesome. Draw the start line down on that lovely scene. And back to the dungeon where Bao looks at Tiger Eye and says, I hear 100,000-year dungeon is made from a single stone, and then it goes down into the heart of the world where the fires of the gods still burn hot. I am not looking forward to going.
Oh, well, sounds quite interesting, but I think we might want to get out of here before we go there. I mean, it's not, we can visit it maybe later after we've thrown out, what is his name? Custodian Tian.
He smiles and laughs. Ha! If it was only that easy, the next thing you'll be saying is you'll just throw off your shackles and escape.
Yes, that is actually what I was planning to do. And because I will do that, actually. I think I will throw off my shackles and try to escape now.
Awesome.
Seems like it's the point in the story where I should do that.
Mm-hmm.
If I can make my move. If not, then, well, I will have to do it another way. Oh, I should decide what I roll with before I do it. I think I will try to do it with Earth, because we need to be precise here and focused.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, oh, I've got a 7. Well, it's not great, but it is there. But okay, 7 to 9, I choose a complication. I mark an element. I end up in a dangerous situation. I leave evidence behind. I lose something valuable. Okay. I think I will say we will end up in a dangerous situation. That seems appropriate.
Just as you throw off the shackles, Bao proclaims, "You are truly wondrous, Tiger Eye. How I doubted you is beyond me." And that is the point where you see Ming being escorted down the stairs by Huo and some of the guards. And you can hear her saying, he said, I feel it's only fair, says Huo, you see her as coming down the corridors to Ming, that you say goodbye to him. I know that you have misjudged feelings. And you turn around the corner and then they see you with the chains.
Do I have time to slip the chains back on? Because I don't really want to be caught.
You can do that with a overcome.
Yeah, I will try to do that because that's that. Okay, yeah, I think I would. I forgot my element, choosing my element, but still, I think I would have chosen Earth again because Earth is nice and focus is really important here. And I make it with a 9, I think. Yes, 9.
So there is a complication. You get 1 on fully, but you can't get your wrist back through the other one. So as long as you put one hand over the other, they probably won't notice it. But
oh, right, I burn a bond. Ha, Leandro's right. I can burn a bond. Right, I will burn the bond to my people because I really have to get back to them. I'm burning bonds here like crazy, but who cares? So I've got a 10.
Got a 10. Huh. So yes, yeah. you've got them on, but on a full success, you can immediately pull your hands back out at any time you want to.
Yes, I don't want to right now because Huo's there and have to be careful. Ming's there.
Huo and Ming and the guards are standing there. Huo looks at you both and says, I do not envy the fate that you will both soon face. Bao looks at Huo and says, duplicitous woman, away from here.
And I look at her and I say, why not? It seems to be a very unique location. And if you want to go and where I stand, you can totally do that.
Your unbending spirit and optimism is truly a sight to behold, Tiger Eye. The Emperor will break you.
I don't think so. I beg to differ.
So Ming sort of then stands and says, you promised me time with him alone. I did. And she has Bao unchained and taken to another cell, leaving you with Ming.
Well, Ming, here we are now. Finally, a romantic tete-a-tete.
And I do not want you to go. I will never see you again. Your mark has been made across this world, and your people need you. She
So what do you intend to do about it?
throws herself at you, wraps her arms around you. Please, do something. Stop them. Escape.
I'm gently pushing her back a little and I say, Ming, you can't always wait for other people to do things. If you want something to happen, you have to take charge yourself. You're behaving like you're just this toy that for other people to push around and use. I think there's more than that to you. I think you have spirit and heart, but you're letting yourself be crushed by Huo and those who are like her.
Can I just double check if I'm correct, by the way? Sorry. Calm Waters is is Ming's mother, right? That is
Yes.
Right,
Yes, that's true.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So my mother will not permit it, but she looks at you and says, perhaps I am willing to face dishonor to honor your name. How if you will go, if they take you, how can I honor you? How can I carry on your work?
I do not intend to go to the dungeon of 100,000 years just yet, but you might keep your eyes and ears open and give that which you hear to those who can use it. I mean, this would be the least you can do.
I know your friend.
Or you could come with me, and then I throw out down my shackles. Or you can come with me to the woods.
Tiger Eye, you've slipped off your bonds.
Yes, well, they starved me a bit, and that was quite useful.
She hugs you and puts her head into your chest and says, I will follow you to anywhere. I don't care about these trappings. I simply wish to be with you and to do justice and save our people.
Well then, I think then we should leave this place. Maybe try to find Bao and get him out too. He's at heart, he's quite a decent fellow, I think. Maybe.
Okay.
Possibly.
Good. So let's draw that down on that scene. I just need to take a bio break for a second, folks. So if we want to take 5 minutes,
please.
and then we'll play for the last half an hour or so.
Cool.
Okay. So I think we should cut across Sable Serpent briefly to see how they are doing and their dastardly machinations.
Yeah, I don't know. I think my machinations are kind of done. Have you
Mhm.
deployed a soft move against me yet?
I think I did that by turning your master into a bit of a bad egg. So right,
You call that a soft move?
I didn't kill someone. Right. Cool. Okay. In that case, I think the scene. I'm going to pick back straight up with Tiger Eye then. I think that scene will probably be pivotal. What happens next? Everyone else's character. So Tiger Eye, the cell is unlocked. You are free, and with Ming, what does Tiger Eye do next?
Go look for Bao, of course, because they have bonded, and I think that is kind of important to him not to leave Bao behind because change of plans and stuff like that. No, Bao can go to the 100,000 euro dungeon. He was afraid of that.
So there is a. You can see the guards are just down the corridor from you. In front of it, the door is shut, and you can hear. Huo's and Bao's muffled voices from within. The guards, seeing you free, look quite panicked and draw their weapons. Unfortunately, you are currently disarmed.
That is not so great, but well, I need swords. These guys have swords, so I think I maybe try to take their swords because, and I will step up to them and I will say, "Hello, my dear fellows. So nice of you to have brought swords for me to use. Throw them, just throw them down. Just throw them here, and go and have maybe a nice little pot of noodle soup, and everybody will be happy."
The guards look at each other and say, "Time in the dungeon has addled to their brain. We're not going to give him our swords, right? I presume you're trying to do something like, are you doing hearts and minds to try and get them to give you their weapons?"
No, I'm just messing with them.
No, that's fine. They look back and forgo. One of them looks and says, "I don't want to give you my sword."
Well, we can't always have what we want.
Ah! And he runs at you with the sword.
Well, I will try to trip him and take his sword. So I guess I'm fighting moves, right?
Yeah, if dealing with troops of the guards run at you.
Yeah. I guess I have, even if I haven't got my swords, I can still use my my element, right? Because my style, because I mean, not having swords is kind of, well, it's just a thing. I'm rolling with fire then. Let's see how that goes. Didn't go so well last time. Oh, I've got an 8, so yeah.
Good. So it's not easy. You do get nicked by the swords as you try to disarm them.
Mm-hmm.
But do you want to describe what happens? This awesome feel, a fight in the firelit dungeon corridor.
I think what happens is that I fight them. At one point I take one sword and knock down one guard, but the other has me at a disadvantage, and I would have gotten into deep trouble if Ming hadn't chosen that point to take a torch and fling it at that guard, distracting him just enough for me to give him a kick into his kneecap and throw him down and take his sword.
Okay, you grab that sword. The guards are down. The door opens. Huo is looking there with fierce eyes and peering at you. Let's go back up to Ping and Green Owl at this point. What happened to you folks after your wonderful scene?
Ping is still going back to the palace, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think Green Owl, unless Ping says something, is just going. If you ever need me, just let it be known. I'll be sure to find out that you are in need of my assistance. Farewell. And she parts way and rejoins back on the castle in the guise of Serene Crow.
Good. Okay. And how about Ping?
Yeah, I am going back to the castle.
Good. Okay. So in that case, again, I'm going to just, if no one's got anything desperately pressing to do there, I'm going to go back to Tiger Eye to deal with Huo, and then that will probably get us all back together in the throne room, most likely. So, Tiger Eye, Huo looks at you and says, I should have known you would have escaped.
Yes, well, do you mind if I take Bao with me? He doesn't like the climate in the dungeon, and I don't think the dungeon of 100,000 years would actually agree with him.
She takes a stance and looks at you. So, you and Bao, huh? And what will you... He join your little band of rebels?
Oh, we'll figure that out. You can join too. I mean, if you want to throw down tyranny and bring justice back to the land.
I am justice in this land.
Well, you're not doing so very great, right? Because there is no justice in this land.
She looks and she's weighing up and says, perhaps you are right. Perhaps there is no justice in this land.
Well, then you should do something about that. And not starting with me or Bao, but starting with those who perpetrate the injustice.
She looks down and then looks up fiercely and says, I wish I was a wiser, and I wish I had your passion.
Why? Well, it's a matter of choice. You have a choice. You are not in bonds to a witch and cannot use your willpower. You have a choice here, and you've chosen tyranny, but you can make another choice.
You're asking me to betray my father.
I'm asking you to serve your country.
No, you're definitely making a hearts and mind.
Yes, I think I am, which is weird because I didn't expect that she would be at all receptive, but, well, I think, what do I need here? I actually need fire, but that's my style element, and I'm hesitant to use that. Because then I can fight her. I have to use water instead and try to do it with wisdom. It's not my strong suit, but what the hell? I've got an 8. Should have used fire.
Okay, so on an 8, you can instead choose to get them to reveal, overreact, hesitate, or alienate.
I think I want can I have overreact because I want to have a bond with her? Or I can use alienate. Oh, I like that. Yes, I use alienate because to try to create a conflict between her and her father.
Yeah, you can definitely do that.
Cool.
She looks at you and takes her hand off her sword and turns her face away. Take him. I was fond of him, even though he is a peacock.
He's a bit
Be
of
away.
a peacock, right?
Be away with him. Never let me see you again. The next time will be the last time, Tiger Eye.
Oh, well. I think we will see each other again, though. But right now I will just take what I can and take Bao and Ming and try to leave the palace. Probably not via the throne room, because that sounds like maybe a bit much of a risk. Just try to get out by whatever servant ways. And we will use disguises, of course. We'll disguise ourselves right now.
Good. Okay. Well, I think we'll have you fleeing from the palace. I think everyone is otherwise returned back to where they need to be. And that feels like it is the end of today's session. For the climax of this arc of the story, next